Time for Dart Talk. Brought to you by thedartzone.com. Stay in the zone. Thedartzone.com is an official Cosmo distributor and Windy City Fabricators, America's premier fabricators of orthotics and prosthetics. And Redwood Darts, America's newest tungsten darts. Stand straight and tall and hit them all. Redwood Darts. And now, here are your hosts, Mystery Mark and Steve P.
Dart Talk carries the Internet Broadcast Rating TVD, a broadcast that is specifically designed to be viewed or heard by the darting community, and therefore may be incomprehensible to other lesser mammals. Darter discretion advised.
Okay, welcome to Dart Talk.
Welcome.
Tuesday.
It is a Tuesday.
Whatever day
Maybe
in
that's
March.
thrown everything out of whack.
Nearly spring.
Yes, close.
What day is it? 19th?
It is the 19th.
March 19th, 2013, episode 12.
Yep.
Dart Talk brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Windy City Fabricators and Redwood Darts.
Yes.
And how are you?
I'm fine. How about yourself?
Frazzled to
frazzled.
the bone and irritated beyond belief.
Ustream has been acting up, and why are you
The
irritated?
sources of my consternation are long, but
Okay.
distinguished. Although I did get...
Could you paraphrase?
So we got some interesting emails.
For
a bunch of
concerning
things. Well, for one, we asked people to nominate who would
We
be
did,
on
yes.
Mount Rushmore.
Mhm.
Got some very interesting responses. Got some more from some folks in Indianapolis. I was down at the St. Pat's Open.
Yes.
It was like the 28th year they've had it. That was an interesting
We'll get to
tournament.
that, right?
We have a live studio guest to tell us all about the doings in Indianapolis over the weekend. So, yeah, so I got emails from that. We got, a couple of compliments and stuff like that, which was nice, and we got some more likes and everything. That was cool. Thanks, everybody. Then I got this bizarre email about NASCAR stole our opening.
NASCAR still who's opening?
Well, apparently, Fox Sports
Mm-hmm.
does like promos for NASCAR or something, and I don't watch NASCAR.
Right.
And I'm usually busy on the weekends, so. But apparently they stole our theme music.
Did they really?
And they're using it for NASCAR. So now we are officially not only getting ripped off by pretty much everybody with a microphone in Chicago, but now NASCAR and Fox nationally has stolen our opening music. So thanks, NASCAR. I knew it was good, but I didn't know it was that good.
I'm sure that's where they got it from, too.
And anybody else who would like to copy anything we do, just email darttalk@gmail.com, and I will give you a heads up so you can copy before we put it on the air, and then you can look like you had it first.
There you go.
Pilot fish. You can also follow us on Twitter at Dart Talk. I updated our YouTube page. So if you go to Dart Talk US on YouTube now, you can see the latest episodes. You can see all the episodes that we've archived in the last 9 months we've been doing video. And I also stuck a link on there to our Facebook page and to our Twitter account. So from one place you can now get to all three. That will tide you over until darttalk.us is
up
ready
and running.
for
Right. Well, it's up and running.
public consumption.
When it actually has content, correct?
There was one interesting bit of news that I just kind of found puzzling. Right?
Which is?
Well, Adrian Lewis did not win the World Championship back in late December, early January. He lost to Van Gerwen in, I think, top 8, round of 8.
Right.
Or round of 16, whatever it was. Had a couple of darts to beat him. Mashed him. Yeah. Didn't come close. Ended up losing. And his play over the course of the seasons hasn't been all that stellar, but he's managed to win 2 straight world championships. He was going for number 3 before Taylor beat him. There's an announcement today And it was like the nicest little, oh, by the way, I've broken up with my manager, but we're still great friends, and I wish him well. And then his manager's like, yeah, well, it was great working with Adrian. He won 2 world championships in 3 years, and I hope he does well in the future. And I'm like, what happened?
They won't tell you.
Well, I'm pretty sure I know what happened was, Keith Deller got tired of, whatever shtick Adrian Lewis was having and said, you know what, I can't have this anymore. Because,
Do you think it's not right for them to be nice to each other and wish each other well? I mean, is there supposed to be
if it's going to be
animosity at
so
all times?
obviously nice that you don't mean it, you may as well at least say, you know what, tell the truth.
So you're just assuming they don't mean it.
Well, it's pretty obvious when you read the thing. It's, Keith Deller did not say he was, like, not managing him so he could spend more time with his family. He made a point of saying, well, I'm going to manage other darters.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I just thought it was kind of like, I'm looking at some of these press releases like they think everyone has, like, the IQ of a fence post or something. Like, you can't see through this?
Yeah, but if it keeps it on the down low instead of getting a whole bunch of reaction to it.
I mean, I'm not going to take everything at face value and give everything the benefit of the doubt of everything they say. Otherwise, I would swallow whole what I hear from the BDO, which is
if they come out and say exactly why. I mean, neither one of them. They don't want to. They don't want to have to listen to the same question every time every tournament.
Well, they're going to keep getting it though, because nobody's going to believe the press release. Nobody's going to believe that, oh, we're happily, apart and doing other things now. I mean, the guy was like the hottest player on the planet. He had a manager that had him winning back-to-back world championships, and all of a sudden it's no good. It's like Tiger Woods fired
his caddy. Steve Williams.
That was different. Everybody knew why.
Yeah.
That was like a choosing sides kind of thing. But when he first fired his swing coach, the first
Haney?
one. No, the guy before Haney. The celebrity guy that wanted to take all the credit.
Oh, I know.
You know what I'm talking about.
Right
I can't think of his name anyway. He's a yokel anyway.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was just sort of like, obviously there's something going on here.
Butch
this
Harmon.
is not like Butch Harmon.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, son of Claude.
Yeah.
Claude, much better teacher. Sorry, Butch. I'm just saying, it was just sort of like, if you believe this, I got a bridge. It's cheap. It's over by Phil Freed's house. You can't miss it. It's pretty. It's been there. It's a landmark. It's like 150 years old, and the mortgage rates are so low now. I can put you in that bridge for like a very low down payment. The down payment normally would be like, $1.7 million, but if you give me $150,000 in cash, I can work this out. We can get a bridge loan financing from these guys in Poughkeepsie, and
if it keeps enough people from asking the reoccurring question, then it's worth them.
It's not going to keep me from asking. It looks to me like it's nothing but smoke, and everybody knows it's smoke. I mean, so why, if you're going to put out something so blatantly, obviously wrong, what are you accomplishing there? Like this little love note that.
It's only time will tell whether they accomplished what they wanted to or not.
Okay. We'll have to agree to disagree on that. We do have results from the St. Pat's Open in Indianapolis over the weekend and some pictures.
Oh, we have pictures, really?
Well, here's it. Well, okay. Let's just put it this way. This tournament had a serious venue problem that they knew basically by Friday night that the weekend could turn into a complete and utter catastrophe.
Okay.
And to the credit of the staff and the volunteers and the IDA, they actually pulled off a relatively decent tournament considering they could have held it in a swamp with a tent with holes in it and had less complaints than they did about this venue. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, we'll have to get into that.
So I have a list for tournament directors. We'll get to a little bit. 10 things never to do with
when
your
selecting
tournament.
a venue.
But we do have we do have somebody from Indianapolis that can talk about it. And I there's no way around it. I mean, sometimes things don't go right.
Correct.
And it's how you handle the mistakes that is the difference between failure and success. And I think they did a very good job in handling what was,
what they were dealt
to a large part out of their control.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, once you're at the venue and the boards are up and the tournament's underway and you start getting a flood of complaints, what are you going to do? You can't move the tournament to the parking lot.
Right.
You can't move it across the street on 4 hours' notice. What are you supposed to do? So it was, it was difficult for the players, and I thought the players, for the most part, I thought they handled it well. I wasn't hanging around the tournament desk. I mean, I didn't really hear
all the complaints.
All the complaints
but
I mean, it. When you talk about tournaments and when you talk about, and we're going to get Jenni Higgs on here to talk about it. And the first thing I want to ask her is, why do you put on tournaments? It was funny because I told her, hey, by the way, hey, Jenny, here's the first thing I'm going to ask you.
Yeah.
And it wasn't what she expected as far as the first question
was different, right.
And I think it's a question that a lot of tournament directors may not have asked themselves in a long time. Now, if your idea is to put on a tournament to make money, then the tournament's a no-brainer, right? But
sure.
if your intention is otherwise, I think a lot of tournaments, why are you having a tournament? The tournament in Chicago, like the Windy City Cup, I've been telling them for 2 years, don't even have it anymore. And they're like, well, we have to have it. And I'm like, why?
Yeah, what's the point?
If the players don't come to your tournament, why are you having a tournament? And then you go to the board meetings or you go to like the league meetings and there's, well, we lost money on this tournament and all these people sitting in the room didn't go. So what are you having one for?
You're talking about not the Open, but the Cup.
Well, they canceled the Open because
right.
people didn't go to that either.
Yeah.
So it's like if nobody's coming to your tournament, why are you having it? Okay? And you see in the Midwest...
They're hopeful people will show up.
Well, you see in the Midwest tournament people knocking themselves out to get people to their tournaments.
Yeah.
Right? And what have I always said? I'm like, it's incumbent on the tournament organizers to provide the best tournament experience they can, and that's what brings people to a tournament.
Right.
Right? If the prize money is $500 more, that is not going to be why people come. People come if they want to have a good time, and they have a good time, they'll come back. If they want to play competitive darts and they got competitive darts in, they'll come back.
Yeah.
If they wanted to have a good time and they were treated badly by everybody they saw and treated badly by the hotel staff and somebody broke into their car or whatever, odds are they won't be back.
Probably not.
Right?
Right.
Stands to reason.
Definitely makes sense.
I want to talk a little bit when we get Jenny on here about, kind of how tournaments go about, kind of behind the scenes. How do they go about doing tournaments?
Yeah.
And how much work is it? Because I suspect...
It's a lot.
Yeah. It's like... And nobody wants to see anybody make sausage. They just want to eat it.
Yes.
And I think, because...
It's a good point.
As players, we're very critical. Whenever something goes wrong, somebody's always up at the front desk, complaining and this and that and this and that. And I don't think the tournament people ever really kind of get their side of the story out, so to speak. I mean, things do go wrong. Mistakes do get made. And we're not picking on Indianapolis. We just happen to have one of their people here to pick on.
It just happened to be
so
last
we have
week.
to take advantage of that.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So let's take our first break, and we'll bring on Jenny. You're listening to Dart Talk with Mark and Steve, and we'll be right back. Okay, back for the second quarter, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
DartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, thanks Windy City Fabricators and Redwood Darts. How you doing, Sassy?
Doing great.
Our first
ever live studio guest, and we are like kind of hunching over like some odd triptych.
We're not prepared.
We're family right
we
now.
need a new camera. We are close family right now. Anyway, we have Jenni Higgs, who is a board member of the Indianapolis Darters Association, who hosted the St. Pat's Open over the weekend. How are you?
I am good.
All right, let's try that again.
Try that
How
again.
are you?
Anyway,
I'm good.
We don't have a third microphone or a third set of headphones.
Right.
We're not terribly high tech. So before I start grilling you, I understand you wanted to say something, thanking the Darters for their tolerance or what have you, something like that.
First of all, thank you to all the dart players that came out to the St. Pat's this weekend. I want to give a special thanks to Julie and Timmy Nickel for putting on our youth clinic. A lot of children that were there were very excited to meet Timmy and Julie, and as always, they did a really good job. All of our sponsors that we had, local businesses, local bars, great clips. I want to thank them. And from the IDA, am I not talking into it close enough? It's kind of like karaoke, but not. I usually am really,
Yeah, you're good. Just if you look at that thing, if you're right in the middle, you're good.
Oh, okay. I don't want to be too loud.
No, you sound
Okay.
good.
All right. I would like to say, though, on behalf of the IDA, this year's venue, of course, was not the hotel. We've been to this hotel before, always in the past, and they apologize, of course, for a lot of the problems that people had with the rooms and so forth. Hopefully, in the future, you'll come back and give us a chance next year. It definitely will not be held at that hotel.
Yeah, I didn't actually hear you thanking them. You
Yeah.
thanked everybody but the hotel.
Yeah, I didn't really thank them because I stayed there as well, along with other board members or IDA members, and we went through the same problems that other people had. I washed my clothes immediately when I got home and threw away my duffel bag. So, it was just not a clean place, and it's unfortunate. But the tournament went great, and our attendance was up from last year, to which the year before that it was even up more. So that's a great turnout for us. So hopefully, the tournament going well, the room's bad. Hopefully the way out between the two, that the tournament gets the higher rating than just focus on the hotel.
Right. Yeah, the hotel was a catastrophe.
It was.
I mean, there's no way around it.
It was.
And there isn't a whole lot the tournament staff can do once you're already in there.
Right.
A lot of people were kind of wondering how you ended up with that hotel in the first place, but as I understand it, I remember being at that hotel a year or two ago, and it was fine.
Right.
And you've had numerous events there over the years.
Yes, actually, not just the St. Pat's tournament, but the Bull Shooter, and also several of our city dart leagues have had their city tournaments there over the past years. I think we've had it there 3 or 4 years in a row for St. Pat's. Along with these other tournaments that went on. Never had a problem with the hotel. We had, the same issues, hot water, things like that, but not the non-cleanliness or the non-safety issue. And it was just really, unfortunate.
How not clean was it?
It was dirty.
How not clean was it? I have photos.
It was
Since I was not there.
it was dirty.
I have some photos, and I wanted to show this one first, and we'll come back to it. But these are some of the photos that one of the people, apparently he thought this was a blood stain, and when he asked the hotel staff if it was a blood stain, they said no, if it was a blood stain, it would be on top of the mattress. Another guy said he thought there had been a fire in his room. This is a picture of, I don't know, the blood stain on this guy's floor. This is a picture of, like, the mossy bathtub. And then he took other ones that, I mean, there's no reason to really go through them. Although one person did make a point, and I wanted to kind of bring this up. This is the bucket that people were throwing cigarette butts in, and it's like a dead bedbug killer chemical thing. So now you know something about this business, and I just wanted to say that at least it shows they were addressing a problem that they knew about.
But why would they advertise the fact that they're using a bedbug killer by letting people throw their cigarette butts in it?
Well, I don't know, but I heard people saying that, they had like bites on their feet and they wanted to burn their clothes and all this stuff. And
but if you had gotten rid of the bedbug problem and one person got a bite, say it was from a mosquito or a spider, and then they saw that, they're just going to automatically assume they have bedbugs.
Well, yeah.
That's
exactly.
Not very smart.
I mean, people could get bit by a black widow and think it was a bed
of
bug.
Course.
I mean, people aren't etymologists.
Oh my God, I can't believe it.
Well, but now we were going to talk last week about like how to pack for tournaments and stuff, because there is a certain art to it, and when you go to enough tournaments, you start to kind of realize maybe you should bring this, maybe you should bring that. One of the best ideas I ever heard was I won't say who, but he wasn't happy with the toilet paper at this one hotel, and he's like, I'm packing my own next time. This is ridiculous. I don't like sandpaper.
Bring your own Charmin.
Bring your own Charmin.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you're driving to a tournament, you
can
can bring anything you want. Well, probably not, but I forget myself sometimes. But now when it just comes to bed bugs, because so many of our listeners actually do go to hotels.
Yeah.
And it is a problem that is even in 5-star hotels.
It's everywhere.
I mean, in Chicago, it's like, I don't know when it became an epidemic, but it is. You know about this stuff. Can you tell people kind of what to look for when they first go into a hotel room, how to find out if they actually do have bugs?
Yeah, kind of.
Not respond
it's
to
kind
like
of
a
a
rumor?
problem, though. I mean, because you really actually have to do an inspection, and the last thing people really want to do when they get to a hotel is strip the bed, take the mattress off and look at the box spring, and then remake the bed so you can sleep in it. But in order to, because
let's say I'm lazy and I just lift up the mattress and I take my little flashlight app on my phone. What am I looking for?
If there's an infestation where there's a lot of them, you're going to see. You're looking for little black spots around the lips of the mattress and the box spring.
Around the seams, you mean?
Around the seams. They hide in the folds of the beds, of the mattress and the box spring. They'll get between the mattress and the box spring. They'll leave black spots behind. Looks like somebody took an ink pen and stabbed the mattress all in a cluster.
Okay.
Or you're going to see the bed bugs themselves, or they'll leave some skin behind because they molt. But the biggest thing to look for is the black ink spots.
Okay.
If that's actually their feces they leave behind. Not that you
Can
really
we
want
say
to know
that and keep our clean tag on iTunes? Okay.
So
black spots.
But that's going to be the most evidence without seeing the bug themselves.
Okay.
And then but you can just lift the mattress up. What you want to do is don't put your suitcase on the floor. That's one thing. You put it on that extended thing that comes out of the closet. Because if you put it on the floor...
What do you call that extended thing that comes out of the closet? The thing that folds up and then you put your roller bag on it?
Right.
What do you call that thing?
Suitcase holder.
Yeah.
Suitcase stand.
I'm pretty sure that is not what you call it. But yeah, okay.
Holder.
So you keep your luggage elevated. Okay, throw it on the dresser top or something.
But
now,
the main thing you want to do is basically what she said she did. When you get home, the reason people get an infestation is they immediately go upstairs, put their suitcase on their bed. If there's some clean clothes, they hang them back up in their closet. They put their dirty clothes in the hamper. But what happens is if the last thing you sleep in, you throw in your luggage, and then you come home, and if it's got bed bugs on it,
then it's in your luggage.
It's in your luggage, and then you just put it in your hamper, and now they start to infest your place, your residence. So you need to immediately take it to the washing machine, even if it's clean. Everything that you brought with you, just immediately throw into the washing machine. Dry it on high heat for at least 45 minutes, and make sure you wash your suitcase out. Leave it outside, especially if it's cold out like this, because they can't stand the frost either, so they would freeze to death.
So the luggage should go on the balcony.
Yes.
Or the luggage should be outside. The clothes should go directly into the washing machine.
Correct.
Or at least into the dryer.
At least into the dryer. Right.
Am I leaving anything out?
No. I mean, you don't want to have to throw it. Like, she threw her duffel bag out. You don't want to have to go throw your duffel bag out every weekend. But I mean, if you were
one guy told me that the first thing he was going to do was burn everything he brought with him. And I was like, I think that might be a little drastic.
You don't have to go to that extreme. But it is a big pain, and you just have to be really cautious. That's the big thing. When you get back, you have to be cautious, and you want to make sure you just go ahead and wash and dry everything right away, and just inspect your suitcase. Maybe take a vacuum to it. There's a bed bug spray you can buy at Home Depot. Just spray it all in the corners, because if there's any live ones that you can't see, it should kill them.
In the luggage, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it strikes me as being like, because when you travel, you're always in these different hotels, and no hotel is immune.
None.
Just, the Motel 6 or the really 5-star hotels
Ritz
have
can
that
have 'em.
problem,
Yeah.
too. The Ritz can have them, too. So if the hotel isn't aware of
Right.
it, by the time they are made aware of it, it's serious,
Sure.
right? And so we kind of all need to be...
And then it just depends on whether the hotel really takes the expense. I mean, if the hotel is just taking that bed bug stuff and
Should we bring it back up again?
Yeah, we can bring it back up.
Here's the bucket again.
If that's just a powder and they're just throwing it on the mattresses,
Yeah.
they're not getting rid of their problem.
Right.
They actually have to have the room fumigated, and to do it correctly, you're supposed to, the room that has bed bugs, you do that room, inspect the one to the left, inspect the one to the right, still treat them if there's no evidence of bed bugs. If there is, you keep moving left and right
until you get it,
and up and
get
down.
some clean rooms.
And once you get a clean room, you don't have to keep moving. But if they're doing is throwing a powder around, that's not going to get rid of the problem. They're hiding in the outlets. They're hiding, behind the baseboards where they're not actually spraying and killing all the bed bugs. So they're going to have bed bugs for a long time.
Okay. So you said we're not going back to that hotel? No. Are you sure? Because it didn't have a restaurant.
I'm pretty sure, isn't positive. I'd almost... Yeah, I'm not even 99.9. I'm 100% sure. So.
Okay, well, as far as other things, I mean, I'm curious because I have never had the pleasure of serving on the board of my local dart league. Let me ask you just some general questions about. Do we have to go to a break? Are we on the half?
No.
And I want to clarify something too. I'm actually since I've moved and I last year. Was an alternate. I'm technically not on the board.
Okay, but
I was for almost 10 years and
an
officer. So
yeah,
yes.
But we do have. Bring what down? This?
Yeah, make it smaller.
Oh, this you mean? So you can see that?
Oh.
We both have a similar vested interest insofar as I don't have that many tournaments that are an easy drive from Chicago, so I would like to see this tournament succeed. However, take us through, how do you guys end up picking a hotel? What's the procedure? Do you know? Or was it somebody else do it? Or, just by kind of...
I know general. I was not on the committee that picks hotels. Here's the thing, and this is the hard part that I think is the hard part. We all travel. We all try to watch our money. So if you have a tournament at a hotel that's going to be $100 a night for a room or more, a lot of people aren't going to come because, number one, they can't afford it. Number two, there are plenty of hotels that are cheaper. But then when you go to those hotels who aren't $100 a night and you go to the ones that are the $50, the $60, and the $70 to try to help save money so more people come to your tournament, you give up a lot of the quality that you would have with the $100 a night hotel. Now, cleanliness, definitely don't have to give that up on the dollar amount. So I know in Indy, the reason, and the whole reason that they even chose this hotel is because we've had such a great showing and a great time at this hotel in the past. It just so happens that
Changed from
ownership of the hotel, new owners at the hotel. Of course, they don't advertise that. And we talked about that earlier, that when you go to a hotel to find out if you want to have your tournament there, the first thing you look at is the size of the room where the boards are going to be. Because if you pick a hotel that the banquet room isn't going to be big enough but for 20 boards, you can't have as many people that attended like this past weekend and only have 20 boards to shoot on.
Right.
So that's the first thing you're looking at. You're focused on the banquet room. Are we going to have enough room for all the boards to be in? We talked earlier about maybe there should be a checklist. Maybe you should say, hey, I'd like to see a couple rooms. The unfortunate part about that is that, of course, they're going to take you to a couple rooms that are very nice. And so say, you're like, okay, well, I need to see that room. And they're going to tell you it's vacant. And
I know that venues are a problem.
Yeah,
and it's something that I've been kind of harping on for a while, because if you cannot find a good venue with somebody that's going to work with you, it makes it hard financially to make the tournament a success.
Yes.
They managed to do it in some places, but city by city, I just wish that we had like all the tournament organizers kind of communicating with each other and then all talking to the same chain at the same time.
Exactly.
And so we could like cut global deals and get like group discounts
Yes.
for all our tournaments. And I've never seen the tournament organizers really get together on anything like that. You guys ever talk about that? Or
The hard part about that is that, like, okay, say that the hotels that are in Indianapolis, they may not have in Lexington, or they may not have in, wherever another tournament is at. Some of these large chains, they're $100 a night. And so, okay, we just had a tournament in Indy at a very nice hotel, very nice $100 a night, and they gave us a break for $95 a night. So, the whole thing of it comes down to the money, so.
I don't know. It was funny. I was traveling, it was a couple of years ago, with my girlfriend Jill, and we were going out to Virginia Beach, but we did like some sightseeing on the way, and we went to like Washington, D.C., and we were looking for a hotel, so we got online, and we went on, I don't know, we started reading reviews on Hotels.com, and one review was so funny about this one hotel where the guy would like did 3 sentences on how bad it was, and finally he's like, I should have just slept in my car. And I think some people wanted to sleep in their car over the weekend. I mean, it was really painful for some people, and you know how it is. I mean, things just kind of snowball for people. But we can get off that. I did have some other issues with your hotel, and since as a board member, I'm just kind of curious how you come up with a policy on something like a jukebox. Now, I know a jukebox should be, I would think, a revenue stream, but I'm curious why you would have a jukebox in a dart hall.
Why we would have a jukebox in a dart hall?
Yeah.
I don't know. I always play darts to music. We always do at league at the bars and places where we have league. There's a jukebox, and we always play to music. That's kind of like the big thing. $1 for the jukebox. So why would you not have one at a tournament?
Well, for one, it's a tournament. It's not a bar. It's not a league night. It's a tournament night. So to my mind, it's different.
I don't know that I've ever been to a tournament that didn't have a jukebox.
I've been to lots of them. I mean, I've been to all of them. Like the PDC tournaments, there's no music ever.
Well, okay, there's a PDC tournament. This wasn't a PDC tournament, though. This was a local 27th annual.
Well, this is what I'm getting at. Here's the thing. No. I mean, the thing is, like, the jukebox will run and then it will stop.
Yeah.
And then
people
all of a sudden,
too.
But I mean, it doesn't have to be that way. I mean, there's no law that says you have to make board calls during the final. Here's the funniest thing that happened is I'm playing in like the singles on Sunday. And okay, admittedly, I'm not a fan of diddling, but I had to diddle against a guy, and I think I dropped the first leg or something. So I'm about to diddle. Oh, well, we had to wait for a chalker, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to go get a beer. So for $3, I bought a Coors Light. First beer I had all day. So I sit it down there, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Start warming up. Finally, the chalkers are, I'm like, okay, let's diddle. Okay, so bullseye, pull them. I'm about to just let go of the dart, and the jukebox was off. So the guy at the front desk is like, okay, by the way, Coors Light's in the bar, now $1. And I'm like, $1? And I almost threw a triple. So not only did he blow my focus, but, I mean, literally, I just bought a beer for $3, and I was out $2. So I lost that diddle, needless to say. However, as a dart player who's interested in like a good tournament experience, I didn't find that to be at all appropriate, right? We've had tournaments in Chicago where whoever has the microphone just decides he's going to crack jokes while people are playing, okay? Where does it say that you get to just say or do anything you want and then the dart players at a tournament are supposed to deal with it? I didn't read that in the rule book. Now, I'm not picking on you guys. However, the jukebox on Sunday would go off, then it would go on, then it would go off, then it would go on, and depending on where you happen to be, that might be a distraction.
Could be.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, where does it say that things should be that way?
Well, where does it say that I should have to throw while I have drunk, screaming people behind me, screaming at the top of their lungs about things that aren't even have anything to do with darts?
Well, I don't know. I mean, some things are controllable more than others. For instance, in Nashville, they'll throw on somebody's iPod and they'll have the volume pretty low where you notice it, but it's not obtrusive, and it just plays all weekend. Now, at least that is a consistent thing that you can deal with from a focus standpoint more easily than silence and then Red Solo Cup, right? And then silence.
But then you also
and then
brought
I
up,
love this bar.
And then you also
and I have to listen to that.
But then you also brought up when they announced. Right, exactly. You don't like the music, which,
I didn't really say that, but I mean, I deal with it, but.
Okay, but then you're also like with the tournament directors.
Okay, we'll come back to this.
No.
We have, go ahead and finish, and we'll take a break.
Directors, when they come on to announce players, when it's time for them to play or so forth. There is no way that as a tournament director, if you're getting ready to make an announcement about people and what boards they're going to be on, that you can look at all 40 boards and go, okay, nobody's throwing.
You could look at the final board.
Well,
right? That's one board. That's usually close to you because it's cleared away. So it's actually the one board that doesn't have anybody next to it.
Then maybe that's something.
So you could do that if somebody does. Okay. We're gonna pick on Sassy some more after this break.
It's gonna get nasty.
You're listening to Dart Talk with Mark, Steve, and Sassy, and we'll be right back. Okay, back for the second half. Brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, thanks Windy City Fabricators and Redwood Darts and Jenni Higgs, who's here with us from Indianapolis. And you guys missed a good fist fight during the break.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for Sassy?
Did we clarify the end of that before we cut to break?
I think we could just move
all
on.
good.
I think. Well, what we're talking about here are standards,
right?
And how do the individual tournaments, because things are a little bit different every tournament you go, and I'm always curious how they make their decisions. How do you come up with a jukebox instead of the radio? How do you come up with a radio instead of an iPod?
Okay.
How do you come up with music at all? Because to be honest with you, if I put $30 in the jukebox and just played 30 songs, I'd empty the dart hall.
Yeah, that's
there
everybody
would
leave.
be 25 people at the desk complaining who put this on, and I don't want to listen to it.
Just like you complaining you have to listen to Red Solo
I'm
Cup.
not really, well, I use that as an example that everybody knows, but I'm just saying that music is different. Everybody has different tastes in music.
Right.
And, you know, they were playing stuff that, you know, literally the jukebox was bleeping out dirty words, and this is on Sunday when you have a youth league. So, I mean, it's kind of like, how are you setting your standards, and then how do you go about enforcing them? And I know you have some questions for Sassy, but here's a standard that I will never understand for the life of me. And I don't mean to put you on the spot, but you're here.
You're already here, so it's okay.
So here's the deal. I go to Starbucks, and I get a cup of coffee, and this woman won't let me bring it in the dart hall. And I'm like, it's coffee. She's like, we have complimentary coffee there. They have a coffee pot with little powdered coffee made. I went to Starbucks and got a red eye misto. Okay, you don't sell that.
Yeah, if they don't sell it, they should let you.
She's like, well, it might be Irish whiskey. I'm like, you can taste it. Well, I don't want to taste it, but you can't bring it in. And I'm like, okay, so instead of having coffee while I warm up, I'm supposed to leave it out there, throw 25 darts, come back out, sip it, go back in. And I'm like,
but what
this
if
is
it did
garbage.
have Irish whiskey in it?
Well, it didn't.
I know.
Well, if it did, I mean, technically you're not supposed to be bringing alcohol into the dart hall, but let me tell you something. You know, unless you're going to start, you know, airport screening people.
Did they not let anybody bring in, like, any cup whatsoever?
You couldn't bring in a Diet Coke that you bought at their little thingy. Across. I mean, it was just stupid.
Right.
It was stupid to go about an enforcement this way where... What are you trying to accomplish here? Because all you're doing is hurting your own business because people are already mad about the hotel. Now I can't bring my coffee in, and it's like, well, we have complimentary coffee there. Let me tell you something. I drink good coffee.
Yeah.
I want to taste it when I drink it, like the guy in Pulp Fiction. Okay? So I was just sort of like, now how do you come up with a policy like this?
It's not our policy. It's the hotel's policy.
So the hotel's policy, which is free bed bugs, but no coffee in the dart room.
Absolutely. It's the hotel's policy. There's no, you're not allowed to bring anything outside, purchased outside or outside of the dart hall in. You're supposed to purchase everything inside. Right,
except that what if they only have two kinds of beer? And those aren't the ones you drink.
For me, I mean, I personally do not care for eating nachos and processed bread in plastic bags.
Right.
I would rather have some kind of fruit or something to eat.
So you put it in your purse and you bring it in and you violate the rules.
No, then I don't eat it or eat it in the room before I come in.
Okay, well, that's just ridiculous. I mean, I would advocate that nobody does that. That stick the stuff in your purse and don't make these people make you any more unhealthy than you already are. I mean, that's just... Well, I don't understand how you. I don't understand how this stuff. Well, I don't.
Buy a thermos. Pour your Starbucks in the thermos. Stick it in the back of your pants. Take it in, and then pour your.
So you're advocating I break the rules.
Well, if
I had a better solution anyway. I just handed it to somebody and stood in front of the little.
I saw it.
Church lady. You saw it. I was like, I've had it with you, and I felt kind of bad, and I was like, now that I know it's a hotel policy, all my guilt is gone. But Mark has some questions for you, so let him jump in. Try that one.
Mark's going to be nicer, by the way.
Well, just general questions. Like one of the questions is how do you deal with smokers since you have to call boards? People go outside and you're trying to keep the tournament moving, but 50% of the people smoke and one person doesn't, and they're waiting for. And how do you can't relegate how long a smoke break is.
Exactly. Well, the thing of it is that I know with the IDA, we have a call rule. If you don't come to the board within 5 minutes, then you get second called. You have 2 minutes to get to the board, and then you're forfeited out.
Does the forfeits happen a lot, or
I believe that
do they
we've had,
bend that a little bit though? I mean, is it really?
In the past they did, but the last 3-4 years they have not. And I know that there are actually a couple players that haven't come back because of that, because they did get
Disqualified.
Yeah, disqualified.
Right.
So
do you think those players were upset, or they actually understood that they broke the rules?
oh no, they're upset because we're being mean to them.
Right.
They're not looking at that they're holding up an entire tournament.
Well, yeah, they'd be the first people to complain that
Exactly.
the tournament went till 12 o'clock at night.
Exactly. So it's like anything else. You can't make everybody happy. You cannot make everybody happy. You can try, but you can't. All you can do is put some rules in place, try to follow those rules, try to get everyone else to follow those rules, and then, enforce them when you have to.
Right. All right. I like that answer. I do. I can't remember what it was, though. Oh, yeah, somebody was telling me about that. They thought that all the boards weren't standard. Like, do you measure every board? You're moving them in and out of every venue. Do you measure every board when you set them up?
I do not have a correct answer to that because I don't know if they measure them or not. I do know that they check the hardware on them, and they tear them down, and then of course put them back up. I know that when they're built, the measurements are correct.
Right.
I don't know if they do an actual measurement from the toe line to the middle of the bullseye on every one. I don't know if they do or not.
Because those could get bent. I mean, they're just shoving them in trucks, aren't they?
Actually, they're in trailers. They're actually we have big trailers that we lay them flat and haul them back and forth, which is only like 2 or 3 miles from the storage place to there.
Have you do a lot of people complain that they think some boards are off, or does?
I don't get those complaints. I don't know if anybody else does or not, but and of course, I wasn't on the board this year, so if anybody complained this year, I didn't get it. I got other complaints, but not about that.
What other complaints did you get?
Oh, I don't know. All kinds of stuff. Moving on.
Okay. Nothing you would like to share right now?
Oh, no, I just think that we all need to realize that we're all here to play the game of darts and to keep the game of darts going, and it's about sportsmanship and respect for each other, regardless if we're a new player or a player who's been around for all years. I think that pretty much covers it.
The overall, with the bad of the venue, but as well as the tournament ended being run by you guys, do you think, you'll probably lose maybe a couple people next year, but do you think you guys survived for where you'll have hopefully increase your tournament?
Again, would be awesome. It'd be the 3rd year in a row that the attendance had gone up. If next year, surpasses this year, I hope that people focus more on the tournament and the people that they came, that they got to meet. I know this tournament was a new tournament for some people. They'd never been before. This was their first tournament, and I'm sorry that it happened in that type of venue. But I hope that they saw that the tournament itself, was run pretty much on time, and we took in so many things from last year's tournament. The blind draw that used to be on Saturday night. We had people ask, can you take that out? Give us a little bit of time during the day so we can go eat and have a little bit of a break between events. And we listened, and we did, and we put that money in other events. We're trying to make it better. Like I was saying, you cannot make everybody happy. There's no way you could ever do that. But if you can make the majority happy and hopefully get them to come back the next year, then in my case, then I think that's a win.
Then it's successful.
So, yeah.
Right.
Well, the only the only other question killing me. The only other question I had was, how do you guys come up with what events you're going to run, how you decide how far down to pay them out and stuff like that? I heard some people wondering they had won, like in the mixed triples, I think they only paid top 8. So there were teams that won 3 matches that didn't even get their entry fee back. And I was kind of wondering how you come up with the cutoff there.
I'm not involved in that. I am not. Normally, the tournament directors are the one who sit down and they look at the money, and they get a lot of feedback. I know that last year, after being on Dart Talk right after the St. Pat's, there was a lot of feedback, like with the blind draw, cut it off and add the money to other events. And I know that was taken in consideration. I think the overall thing is you have to look at you can only pay out on a tournament what people came to your last tournament. So if you say, oh, okay, so we have attendance that has gone out the last 2 years, so let's just go ahead and let's raise this to $17,000 next year, which I'm just saying that hypothetically, let's say they did, and so then they raised all these payouts and they added more places to pay out. What happens if those people don't come?
Well, you lose money.
Right. And if you lose money, then that's when you have to look at the lesser hotels to stay at. You have to then lower your payout for the tournament. You have to then cut the payouts that you just added for the next year. You have to totally redo your payout structure because now you can't even pay down to the top.
Well, yeah, see, I kind of wonder how that works. Like, did anybody calculate what it was going to cost each individual player to play there all weekend?
I don't know. Again, like I said, I don't do the pay tables, so I can't answer that.
I guess it would be no.
All right, we're going to take our last break, and we'll throw Sassy over and make her chat room girl for the rest of the night.
Yay!
So if you guys got anything for Sassy, she'll be monitoring the chat for the rest of the show, and we'll be right back. You're listening to Dart Talk with Mark, Steve, and Sassy.
You never did ask me.
Okay, and we are back, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
DartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, thanks to Windy City Fabricators and Redwood Darts, and thanks to Jenni Higgs for stopping by. She's in the chat room if you guys want to hassle her. You know how to find her. What'd you think of Jenni?
I liked her. I thought it was good.
Jenni's good people.
Yeah.
She's got a good sense of humor, and she makes some valid points. We have so much to get to.
We're going into overtime.
I'm just sort of like, we're going to have to like rip through everything.
Yeah.
We'll do the Premier League last since we were so horrible.
Yeah, it didn't turn out very well
last week. But we do have results actually from the Bedbug International.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, for the St. Pat's Open. So why don't you give those a rip there? All right.
You know what? And we never ever did the disclaimer.
Oh my goodness. We should have done that an hour ago.
Yeah.
The views and opinions expressed by guests on Dart Talk do not necessarily reflect the thoughts or opinions of the hosts, our sponsors, any official Dart sanctioning organization, and post hoc ergo propter hoc, any and all spelunkers, debunkers, raconteurs, roustabouts, technocrats, hepcats, cat ladies, Lady Gaga, the Four Seasons, the Three Stooges, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, hipsters, kibitzers, hellions, the fickle finger of fate, or Tom Waits.
And I actually should say, I mean, I call it the Bedbug Open because I think that's funny and we should laugh about it. Mm-hmm. Because we all survived. It wasn't the end of the world. And, you know, all in all, I think the tournament, you know, came off extremely well considering what the folks there were dealing with.
Well, it's worse to have French fries
but
on
let's
your
not
bed.
pretend. Yeah, I mean, let's not pretend, you know, things weren't semi-disastrous once you got outside the dart hall. So we may as well laugh about it. I mean, what? It's better than crying.
It home.
Yeah.
You can only hope.
All right, well, let's do some results from the St. Pat's Open.
All right, mixed triples, Jason Barlow, Bob Sneeve, and Sarah Simons. Eddie Palacio, Liz Tynan, and John McCreary for top four. Missy...
Missy, Steve Brown,
Tate.
and John Ankeny. Missy Tate. Steve
Tate,
Brown and John
John
Ankeny, runners up to...
Trish Grezik, Larry Butler, and Ryan Barnett.
Okay, congrats to everybody played in that.
Women's doubles, Trish Grezik, Marliese Keel, Liz Tynan, Heidi Schrader for top four. Renee Ripple and Brenda Roust for second with Patty Vickery and Kathy Solway.
And we should give Renee, I think it's Ripple. Renee Ripple played with Brenda Roust. We should give her some special kudos because I believe it was the first tournament she's ever played.
Nice.
And she did very well. Yeah, so good for her.
Good for her.
A new player.
Women's singles top four, Trish Grezik, Donna Murillo with Liz Tynan second and Kim Keller first. Mixed doubles, Missy Tate, Steve Brown, Jason Jarvis, and Renee Ripple, for top four. Eddie Palacios, Kerry Williams second, and Trish Grezik, Larry Butler first.
Okay.
Open doubles, Chris Jett, Guy Perry, James Cotton, Steve Manger. Top four, Gordon Dixon, DJ Sayer second, with Chris McFarland and Pat Gerason winning open doubles.
Congrats to them.
Open singles, top four, Timmy Nickel, DJ Sayer, Bob Sneeve second, Larry Butler winner there.
Yeah, I'm not congratulating Bob. Okay, go on.
Nice. Women's singles, Patty Vickery, Marliese Keel, top four, with Weeble, Sarah Simon second, and Trish Grezik first. Your open singles, top four, Nick Coleman, Joe Hedrick with Danny Delfino second, and James Cotton, your winner there.
Congrats to James. Yeah, that was the pro singles on Friday night.
And then your blind draw, top four, Joe Hendrick, Kathy Solway, Jimmy Nickel, Brenda Rausch.
Timmy Nickel. That's
Timmy
okay.
Nickel. What did I say?
Jimmy.
Did I say Jimmy Nickel?
Yeah, there's a lot of Nickels, but I don't think
Timmy.
there's a Jimmy. That's okay.
Second place goes to Steve Jordan, Jim Adams with Chris McHorg.
And Chris Jett.
Oh,
okay. Well, good for them.
Your adult youth, 13 and over. Second place goes to Mitch Hendrick, DJ Sayer, Scott Mowry, and Gordon Dixon. And your adult youth, 12 and under, Billy and Keith Cox with second place, Jay and Christian Browning winning that.
Okay, yeah, it was good seeing Jay Browning. Haven't seen him in a while.
Sunday, men's singles cricket, top four, Steve Panuzzi-Elman, Gordon Dixon for third and fourth, Bob Sneeve second, and Larry Butler first.
I'll congratulate Bob on that one.
There you go. Just not the other one. Women's singles, third and fourth, Donna Murillo and Brenda Rausch with Kim Keller second, and Liz Tynan the winner there. Your men's doubles, Nick Lindberg and Michael Walders Ryan Barnett, Larry Butler, top 4. Gordon Dixon, DJ Sayer, second. And Adam Kleinfelter and Vance Smith win your men's doubles. With your women's doubles,
Vanimal.
Linda Anglin, Angie McKnight, Anita Patrick, and Sarah Stolinas for top 4. Trish Gressick and Marlies Keel second, with Renee Ripple, one of these days. Next tournament,
I'll have to ask her.
And Brenda Rausch. Next tournament she plays in, I'll get her name right.
Yeah. Well, I might see her in Virginia Beach. I'll ask her.
Okay.
So congrats to everybody who made it a successful tournament.
Yeah.
And all in all, I had a good time. It was just surreal at the beginning there. But eventually, you just get down to playing darts and, you don't worry about it. But, some people had a rough time. What are we going to do next? You want to do, we'll save Premier League for last.
Got some odds. Do we want to do odds for Virginia Beach?
Yeah, we could do the odds for Virginia Beach. There was one issue, though, that came up that I wanted to address, and that was the deal with the chalking. Just FYI, you peeps that play ADO-sanctioned tournaments. Yeah. According to the ADO, as I understand it, if a team requests a chalker, you can't say no.
The other team can't.
Yeah, the other team cannot say no. However, you can always request that a chalker be replaced. It's a very weird, ambiguous kind of rule where you can't say no to a chalker, but then you can fire anybody that steps up to chalk.
But if you accept the chalker and you fire them, does that mean there would be no chalker, or they have to be replaced?
Well, they would have to be replaced. And if there's no
chalker.
Replacement, you have no chalker. So I guess in theory you could fire every single chalker that goes up there until there's no chalker. So, I mean, I don't know why anybody would do that, but there was some discussion in Indianapolis over the weekend, and I believe that's my understanding of the rule. Anybody that feel free to email me the error of my ways. You can send that to darttalk@gmail.com. Yeah, the odds for Virginia Beach are going to be kind of interesting. I don't know really how to go about this. I mean,
who won it last year?
Who won it last year? I think Darren won it last year. And then Bob Seneve won it the year before. Darren, I don't believe is going to be playing. And this is the special long format Friday singles in Virginia Beach. So they have 32 seeded players, and then they run qualifiers Thursday night for the other 32 spots. So it's going to be like last year. Remember we did the walk-on songs?
Right, yeah.
So it's going to be a field of 64 with 32 players seeded. So
you're right.
Yeah, I don't know. My eyes are watering for some reason. I don't know.
You missed me already.
Oh, that's what it is.
You're allergic to her departure.
So now that my glasses are off, I can't really read the names. But I believe these are in seated order. So if you want to run down the names and
in
we'll
seated
start
order,
setting on.
We'll skip Darren, Larry Butler, Bob Seneve, Tom Sawyer, Gordon Dixon.
Yeah, you could stop right there. Okay, so the top 4 are Larry,
Bob, Tom, and Gordon.
Tom, and Gordon. I'd have to say we'd have to make Larry the betting favorite of at least Bob and Gordon. Insofar as Bob has not played that much, he's still coming off he's got shoulder problems or arm problems, and then he had basically kind of had a heart procedure last year or something like that. So because he's coming back, although he is playing good, I would have to say Larry would be sharper of the two, just because he's been playing more regularly this year. I haven't really got a chance to see Gordon Dixon play much this year. He strikes me as having, maybe good days and bad days. I know he lost to Larry in the semis yesterday.
Yeah.
So just based on that, you'd have to make Larry a betting favorite over Gordon.
Right.
Sawyer's been doing well, but I haven't seen him because, he stays on the East Coast where, maybe he's allergic to crossing mountains. I mean, he doesn't really come off the East Coast very much, and I guess he doesn't really have to because there's a lot going on over there. It's kind of the same with Widmer. He only plays on the East Coast, and there's enough action there where, he doesn't really have to. So,
so we'll definitely make Larry the odds-on
favorite.
Yeah,
let's make Larry
2-1?
The top favorite. No way. 2-1? That means if we ran a tournament, he'd win half of them? No way.
No, okay.
No way. I'd say the best odds for anybody would have to be, say, 4-1.
4-1.
Say, the betting favorite would have to be 4-1. And if you want to make like Seneve and Sawyer 5-1.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I could live with that. Although Seneve, that might be maybe an unfair price for a guy coming off an injury. I don't think you could take him off the board like we did with some of the guys for New World Dart Series, where one of them ended up winning it. But
he did do poorly last week, so I mean, I think if you're making him,
no, I think he didn't play well. I don't believe in Las Vegas, and that was the last time I saw him.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he looked okay. I mean, he didn't look like he was complaining of pain or anything. But my hard-earned shekels. I think I'd want a better price on Bob than 5-1.
Well, then you don't take him, but we're still putting him at 5-1.
Okay, fine. You're the boss.
He's just. Okay. I mean, other people might like him at 5-1 and take him, but
who else do we got on here? We got.
So
are we going to put a price on Gordon? What did we say for Sawyer? If Larry's 4-1 and Bob's 5-1,
Bob and Tom would be 5-1.
Okay, and then like the next step down would be, you got Gordon Dixon, Jim Widmer, Ralph McCool, Ray Carver, John Kaczynski. Let's cut it off there. Tell you right now that Ralph has been playing absolutely brilliantly this year. Wid, I have not seen play much. I saw him in the doubles in Vegas. I would have to put Ralph up there. Did we set a price on Gordon?
No,
I'd have to put. Yeah, you know
Sawyer.
what is Sawyer? 5-1. I would say let's make Ralph 6-1,
mm-hmm.
and if Ray's there, you can make Ray 6-1. I think that's fair. Chris White, I think, made the final last year. I think you can make Chris White 6-1, and then we're off. We got to go to like 7-1.
Right. Okay.
Scott Wollaston always says he's going to win. Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Darren Young's the only one that actually said that and
did
lived up to it.
Wollaston only wins when he's off the board, so we're definitely putting odds on him in Vegas, and that'll be it for Scotty. Love you, Scotty. Thanks for listening. Okay, so what did we say?
So
7-1.
7-1. Do you just put Gordon Dixon at 7-1 then?
With Chris White and looking down the list here.
Johnny.
Oh
K.
no, Mawson. Gary Mawson. You cannot have Gary Mawson anything less than 7-1. He should probably be higher. I mean, the guy threw a 9-darter in Vegas. I mean,
yeah.
How dangerous is he going to be?
Well, people
criticize his cricket game.
You have to base some of your odds on the order. That's top to bottom.
Well, yeah,
the rankings, right?
Well, yeah, but it's also in part attendance and stuff like that. So,
sure.
I mean, I'm not going totally chalk. I mean, these are our odds.
I know.
Right, so we have to bump Mawson up. We'll put Mawson up with McCool and Carver at 7-1.
6-1.
No, I thought. Okay, what's Widmer? Did we set odds for him?
Larry
Widmer's 5-1.
Larry Butler's 4-1. Bob Seneve and Tom Sawyer are 5-1. Widmer, McCool, and Carver are 6-1.
Okay, well then you lump Mawson in with those guys at 6-1.
McCool and Carver.
And then at 7-1, you can throw in Dixon, Joe Cheney. Wow. And see, I don't think these Canadians are coming.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So some of these guys aren't really coming. So, okay, so 7-1 for those guys, and then say, I don't know, the rest of these guys make the field like 12-1.
12-1.
Something like that. I think that's That's a good question. How many 6-1 or better? Let's see. Larry, Bob, Tom, Jim, Ralph, Ray,
and Gary.
But we said are 7-1 and down, right?
6-1 or better. Oh, everybody. So the only people we have 4-1. Everybody is Larry Butler, Bob Seneve, and Tom Sawyer are 4-1 and 5-1, and then after that, everybody else is 6 or 1 or better.
So you got Ralph and Ray.
All but 3 are 6-1 or better.
I think his point is that we can't have more than 6 people that are better than 6-1. I think is what he's doing on the math there.
Oh,
I'm like the worst odds maker in the world. Okay. Apparently, you're supposed to help me with this. Yeah. So okay. So we said Ray was 7-1, Mawson 7-1, Ralph is 7-1, and Gordon's 7-1. That's 4. And then Larry, Bob, and Tom, that's 7. And then what are we doing with Widmer? Let's make him 8-1 so the mathematicians don't hassle
there you
us.
go.
So Widmer's 8-1. He'll like that. He'll put money on himself at 8-1. Who's what?
I'm not saying there's none.
Is she talking?
She
Is
is.
she talking to her? Is
The
the
chat
chat
room-
room girl
The
talking
chat
to
room
herself?
girl is talking to the computer.
Chat room, chatty sass.
Oh, got it.
All
Okay. Okay,
You're
let's see.
supposed to come up with something clever, though.
And you know what? We have to get Robbie Phillips up with that group at 7-1. We'll put Robbie up there at 7-1. So that's 1, 2. I'm losing count here.
So am I. We don't have this written down.
That's okay. Yeah, make that 7-1 with Chris White, and then everybody else is like
12-1
take the field 12-1.
Mhm.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I could just see the flood of field bets. Look at who you could get. Cheney at 12-1. You could get Bruce Davey at 12-1. You could get
Vanderwheat.
Shane Meeks at 12-1. He'll be in the field. I wouldn't put a dime on me playing cricket. I'll tell you that.
Okay, I won't.
Save your shekels. Bill
Yeah.
Davis. I haven't seen him all year. I don't know. Jay Barlow's playing okay. John
Why do you even
Kaczynski.
play? You don't like cricket?
I don't know. Because it's a
an
start
event.
game, and
Right.
you know, it's one
You're
day
there.
and the money's green, and it's long format. I'm all over it. You know, just because I don't like it doesn't mean I can't hit a triple.
True.
You know. So anyway, okay. Yeah, enough with the odds. These PDC things. I should just let you pick it so I can take. I would be very broke. I would have made a fortune on the last one. The winner was off the board.
Yeah.
I would have won every single bet that anybody made for the NWDS because Wollaston was off the board. So that used to be the smartest chat room in the world. Now I'm not so sure. Somebody's bringing down the group average over there. I'm just waiting on that helicopter. Anyway, okay,
There
let's
you
go to the Week 7 of the Premier League.
Week 6 was bad.
Week 6 was obviously these players were not listening to the show because they did not.
Well,
do
they
as
actually
were
might have been
instructed
listening to the show
and just wanted to hey, let's
let's
really
tank
mess
on-
this
yeah,
guy.
right.
Yeah, let's tank for Steve.
Mhm.
All right. Well, what do we got here? We got Andy Hamilton, who just beat Taylor twice in a week, which I'm not sure anybody's ever done, at least in the last 15 years. Playing Simon Whitlock, who beat James Wade last week. What do you make of
Good
that?
match.
James Wade's going to just become the Cincinnati Bengals for me. I mean, I have no idea if the guy's going to win or lose.
Right.
I'm apparently always wrong. So you can pick this one. This is Andy Hamilton and Simon Whitlock.
Now let's go with Simon Whitlock.
You want to go with Simon? Okay. Gary Anderson and Michael Van Gerwen, which ought to take about 6 minutes for this match. Probably the two fastest players in the league. Van Gerwen's coming off of a slight beatdown of Wes Newton, and Gary Anderson tied with Adrian Lewis, which, I found somewhat interesting. What do you think there?
Yeah, because we thought Adrian would just run away with that. Well,
So what does he do instead? He ties Gary Anderson and fires his manager.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, he didn't fire him. They had a parting of the ways.
Maybe that's why.
Right.
Maybe it's because of that match.
I doubt that. Okay, so
Who's got the advantage being a speed player like those guys when they're playing each other?
I don't know. To be honest with you, there's no way you can argue that Gary Anderson's been playing better than Van Gerwen over the past at least 4 months, if not longer. So, I mean, if you're taking Anderson, you're going to have to be doing it on some sort of a hunch, which I can't think of any reason to take.
All right, we'll take Van Gerwen.
I mean, has he suddenly turned it around and found it again? I mean, I heard an interesting quote. I was listening to Tommy Emmanuel, who's this great guitar player, and he was talking about how when you play guitar, it's something you do every day. And some days when you play, you just sound brilliant, and there's no problems. And then the next day you pick up the guitar, and it's like you've never played before. And things don't sound right, and things aren't working, and la-di-da-di-da. And the thing that struck me was his explanation for that, because he was talking about his own deal, because he plays every day, and he tours a lot, tours all over the world. And he was saying that it's because every day you wake up, you're basically a different person.
That makes sense.
You know, and I found that interesting because, the way dart players, play good one day and then the next day, where did it go?
Mm-hmm.
Or you play one good match and then, where did it go? It's kind of weird how some people can stay the same person longer than other people, right? They've figured something out there, right, to get more consistency than the next guy. And I think Van Gerwen's done that. I think Van Gerwen has figured out what he needs to do to play at a very high level week in and week out.
Day
And,
out,
nobody's going to go undefeated, but I think he's proven that he's got this figured, and I think Gary Anderson's proven that he doesn't have a clue how to do it because he's so up and down, and he is so streaky, and he's good one day, and he's horrible the next. So how do you not take Van Gerwen?
Right.
Yeah,
Right,
sure,
I
he
agree
may
with
not
you.
win, but
Yeah.
So can we take Van Gerwen,
We can
please?
take Van Gerwen.
Okay.
Yes.
Robert Thornton and Adrian Lewis. We took Thornton again last week.
Yes, we did.
How'd
We
that
said
work
we
out
said
for
we were
us?
done. That was it. That's all for 3, right? 3 in a row. Well,
he tied
he
Raymond.
tied.
So I mean, it wasn't like he lost.
Right.
So does that mean we're off of him now? I don't think so. I mean, I think you can anticipate him playing well.
Okay.
I don't know what to make of Adrian Lewis. I don't know if suddenly now he's going to be back to his old self or whether he's going to fall further into the, whatever
Abyss
he's been, throwing out of lately.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know what to make of that.
Well, it sounds like you like Thornton in that then.
Yeah, why not?
All right.
At least he's a known quantity at this point. I mean, you got to look at Lewis and kind of shake your head, like where'd he go, right? Although the last 2 weeks he's played well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe he has turned it around. Doesn't make.
We're
any
just not
sense.
believers yet.
What are the odds of Phil Taylor losing 2 weeks in a row?
And basically 3 matches in a row, right?
Yeah. Well, I can't. There's no way on earth I'm taking Wes Newton. Although I'm sure Wes is convinced he can win this.
Yeah.
Pretty sure Phil's convinced he can't. But that's why you play the game. So let's take Phil.
Okay.
So we got Thornton, we got Taylor, we got Van Gerwen, and we've got Whitlock, which leaves James Wade against Raymond van Barneveld. So you got the Dutch against the Bengals. They're both wearing orange.
Right.
I don't know what to do.
1 week I like the Bengals, 1 week I don't.
I can't pick the Bengals. That's what I was trying to tell you. Was that offline where I said
No, it makes a
literally
lot
it
of
was the
sense.
only team I could never pick was the Bengals?
Yeah. Week in, week out, they're like that.
So if I say Wade, then we go with Van Barneveld.
Right.
Right. If I say
you go Oppo.
Van Barneveld, then we go with Wade.
We
right?
go
we just do
Oppo.
the opposite of what I think. Oh,
Dart Zone has a question.
the Dart Zone has a question.
It depends on which darts Phil is using? Question mark.
It depends on what?
Which darts Phil is using?
Did Phil switch his darts?
No, that's what it says.
Oh dear.
Would you like me to ask that question?
Yes.
Yeah, why don't you ask if Phil is on phase 6 now, or get to work. Wow, you bring these people in, and then all of a sudden your commercial breaks take like 5 times longer. You get somebody hits you upside the head
the
with a
last 2
purse.
weeks
You got to call the paramedics.
Apparently he's been using different darts the last 2 weeks.
Why? He's got a new set out that he's trying to push. He did
Don't
that
ask me.
when he first started playing with these fat darts. I mean, I thought he was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
It took him a long time to adjust because he went from straight barrels to the kind of John Lowe bullet barrels, and those are not the same things. I was trying to explain that to somebody the other day. You cannot work darts with those barrels like you can with a straight barrel. With a straight barrel, you can be like a surfer. You know how a surfer will sometimes be in the middle, sometimes toward the back, sometimes right on the front edge of his board. You can adjust where you hold the dart with straight darts and get a different action on the dart if you need one. Right? You cannot do that with these other darts. They're strictly one-note, one-trick ponies. And I don't understand why he even switched to begin with for those things, but he's managed to adjust, and he's playing well. But I swear, I think it costs him maybe 1 ton 80 every 2 legs that he can't get the third one in there because there's not enough room. So I don't understand what he's doing.
All right, so
it's got to be some marketing thing.
Did you take Wade, or are you picking Wade or Van Barneveld?
Well, if I take Van Barneveld, that means we've
which
got
one are you
Wade,
taking?
right?
You have to tell me which one you're taking.
I'll take Raymond.
Okay, so we're going with James Wade.
Okay.
We're going Oppo.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
let's see if we can finally go 0 for 5.
Yeah, well, that's our goal now. Yeah, we were.
No, there's nothing like giving a tweet. Hey, nice Premier League picks. I'm like, yeah, they were nice.
We were
weren't
doing
they?
well in the
God.
beginning,
We
and
did
now-
good one week at
now
least.
we're
but-
doing so poorly. Our goal is to finally go 0 for 5.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what to say. I mean, it'd be nice if I could spend more time watching these things. You know, and maybe my picks would be a little bit better. But I think I'm paying close enough attention. I think these players are just not cooperating.
Right.
I think there's a
That's
total lack
it's
of
gotta be it.
cooperation among these guys, and we're going to have to drag them on the show.
Do we have more things to cover? If we do, you might want to take a break before we.
Do we have more things to cover?
Yeah, I thought we had more stuff you wanted to talk about.
Do I? Okay, we're going to take one more quick break while I figure out what else we're going to talk about. And then we'll be right back. You're listening to Dart Talk with Mark, Steve, and we got Chat Room Girl Sassy tonight. So we'll be right back.
Because you.
Okay, and we're back for the fifth quarter.
Overtime, baby.
Overtime, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Windy City Fabricators, Redwood Darts, and Jenni Higgs. Chat Room Girl is here today. A sad bit of news that I just sorry about that. I did that once before. Jeff Pickup passed away yesterday, and
so they missed that whole thing?
Yeah, they missed that whole thing, so I'm going to have to try to redo it. The thing about Jeff, I'm awfully tired of people passing away since we've done this show. I mean, I've lost count.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just been
ridiculous. Been happening a lot.
The thing about Jeff, though, and this one hits a little harder than some of these others, is because Jeff used to be in Chicago for every Windy City Open. And I met him the very first tournament I went to, big tournament I went to, was the 2002 Windy City Open. And it was back when the Brits were coming. So I played in this little qualifier in my little beginner bracket and got on a team with Peter Manley, and I was all excited. And then I played the blind draw. And I pulled the diddle. I was playing a guy named Bob Given, who used to be out in Boston. I think he moved to the West Coast. I lost track of him. But I pulled his dart on the diddle, which he won with a double bull. And I was like, this is the coolest dart I've ever seen. So after the match, after he killed me, I asked him, I'm like, can I ask you, where did you get these darts from? And he's like, some guy in Germany makes them, but the guy upstairs can make them for you. I'm like,
you didn't know who the guy upstairs was?
What guy upstairs? Right. He's like, there's a guy up there, like a lathe, and he makes darts. So I went up there, and there's Jeff Pickup, and I'm an idiot. I just go up. I'm like, hey, this guy told me you could make a set of darts for me. And the guy's, Jeff Pickup's really nice. He's like, well, sure. What kind of darts do you want? I'm like, start explaining it to him, and he just gives me this look like I'm such a moron. But he was so nice, and he's so patient. And eventually I found Bob Given. I said, can I borrow one of your darts a second so I could show it to this guy? He's like, yeah, sure. Here, go ahead. Just bring it back. Show it to Jeff. Jeff, look. Oh, yeah, no problem. Oh, this German guy makes them. Yeah, I can make those. No problem. I'll tell you, I'll have them for you at 10 in the morning. I'm like, tomorrow? He's like, yeah, is that okay? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I actually won my very first tournament event
with
the
those
next
darts?
day. No. I was using these Gold Widows, the movable points. And I won the cricket singles in the nickel cricket singles.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then got the darts, tried them out. I'm like, these are so cool. And I immediately fired the Widows. And I used his darts for I don't know how long. And I still have them. I got to find them and put a picture up. Dave Holmes put a Facebook group together for people to put down, kind of memories or, things that they want to say about Jeff. Because Jeff was around for a long time. Mm-hmm. And it was really sad. It was after 9/11 at some point, he stopped coming to Chicago because he couldn't bring his equipment over the border.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So I haven't seen him in a long time, but it was really sad. And the thing I'll always remember about him was how patient he was with me when I didn't know anything. And I just peppered this guy with questions all weekend. Well, how come you make barrels this way? And how come they're not longer? And how come they're not shorter? And why would you want these points? And why would you want these flights? And why you want a short shaft and not a long shaft? And he would just sit there and with this smile on his face
all your
and
questions.
Just answer everything until I went away. And then he probably lost literally an hour of his time that weekend just answering newbie questions from me.
Mm-hmm.
I'll always be eternally grateful. And, we need guys like that. You need people because, darts is kind of a word-of-mouth kind of sport.
Sure.
If you look at, even these top British guys, if you look at the youths that are coming up, I mean, their parents are players. There's something to be said for that. Teaching your son how to play. I mean, we're going to have to take care of James Butler at some point, but until he can really, reach the board without jumping, I'm not going to worry about him too much. But
eventually,
like I said,
he's on your radar.
We need to get these youths playing at a higher level,
mm-hmm.
especially the girls. If we can get these teenage girls playing darts at a high level, man. The promotional...
Right. We touched on that last week.
Yeah. The promotional opportunities would go absolutely through the roof. So, hope you're listening, Tyler Mears. Get to practicing. What was the other thing we were supposed to do?
NWDS.
Oh, yeah. We wanted to let everybody know...
Total numbers.
Yeah. There's one other thing. Okay. I was going to, go ape on the BDO this week, but it's going to have to wait till next week because I don't have time. But they do have final numbers now for the NWDS. I think is an outstanding turnout. They have 145 men set for the men's event and 45 women, which I think
that's fantastic
for a tournament that was put together on relatively short notice, right? I mean,
Right.
we had the last one in October, and what is it now, April? What is that, 5 months? To get 190 players to fly out to Vegas for this, that's a testament to, not only, great organization by, the people involved with the New World Dart Series and the North American Championship Tour, but also I think it's a proof of concept that there are players out there.
Yeah.
We do have people that want to play.
And that will travel.
It's a matter of giving them the opportunities to play and putting a tournament experience out there that is worth going to. And I think any tournament that's struggling for turnout needs to start looking at the experience they're providing and how can they make it better, right?
Yeah.
And we're always happy to help. If you have questions on how we can, solve your problems, just send them to darttalk@gmail.com.
Of course.
You can find us on Facebook. Our video archive is Dart Talk US is our channel on YouTube. You can find us on TuneIn.com. You can find us on Stitcher.com. And you can find us on iTunes. I did put an iTunes link, by the way, on the YouTube page. So if you want the audio only podcasts, if you go to our YouTube page on a PC, there's a little iTunes button. You can actually just listen to the audio. Depending on what kind of smartphone you have, I don't know if those buttons will show up. They're not showing up on my iPhone, but they will show up on like an iPad.
Right.
All these different size screens. I mean, it's kind of weird, what shows up and what doesn't. But you can find all our shows, and if you ever have a problem, just send us an email, darttalk@gmail.com. Don't forget, we're trying to get nominations for the American Darters Mount Rushmore. We got some great suggestions over the weekend. We got some good emails. Keep those coming because probably we'll start adding the faces in May. I think is probably give everybody a little more time. And it is really great listening to some of the stories about these guys I've never heard of. Yeah. So anybody that you want to nominate, just send us an email and let us know why you think they should be on Mount Rushmore. And I'll be talking to more people in Virginia Beach about it. I think this is going to be really cool. Chat room girl, what you got?
Anything else? No. Slow day.
She was over there waving and everything, and now she's got nothing. Oh, okay.
I had a great time. Thank you.
Oh, well, you're welcome. Okay, so maybe we'll get her back in here again.
For always be known as our first live guest.
Our first live in-studio guest and our first chat room girl. Anyway, for Mystery Mark, Steve Penuncielman signing off. Thanks to the Dart Zone.
Good luck in Virginia Beach.
Yeah,
stay in the zone, by the way.
Yeah, stay in the zone. Safe travels to everybody. And then just a reminder, next week we'll be back on Wednesday.
Correct.
So we'll be back Wednesday night, and odds are the week after we will have no show because I am starting the Road Warrior deal.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be on the road.
Tuesday's not even an option.
If we can work something out, we will, but odds are we're probably not going to do a show. So, everybody, thanks for listening.
You can all cry.
Yeah, you can all cry and miss us. And then we'll be back after Vegas with a full report and stuff like that. And we're going to have some very interesting things coming up down the road, and we'll talk about that next week. Got anything?
All right, sounds
good. Okay, thanks, everybody, for listening. Take care, and we will Dart Talk to you next Wednesday, 7:30 Central. Take care.